Hi, today we will recap the movie Fargo. The movie was released in 1996 and is based on a true story. If you like this video and subscribe, YouTube will push our video to more people. Any help from you would be greatly appreciated. The film begins with a disclaimer that although the scenes depicted in it are true events, the names have been changed at the request of the survivors. The plot is set in the bleak midwinter of 1987 in Fargo, North Dakota. Jerry Lundegaard is the executive sales manager at a Minneapolis car dealership owned by his wealthy father-in-law, Wade Gustafson. Jerry is desperate for money and has embezzled hundreds of thousands of dollars from the dealership. To solve his financial issues, Jerry plans to have his own wife, Jean, kidnapped in order to extort a hefty ransom from his father-in-law. Jerry approaches Shep Proudfoot, a dealership mechanic and convicted felon currently on parole. Shep arranges a meeting between Jerry and his acquaintance from prison, Geir Grimsrud, and his criminal fellow, Carl Showalter. Carl berates Jerry for showing up an hour late. Jerry, however, insists that Shep gave him the wrong time. The plan Jerry hatched with Shep involved Jerry giving Carl and Geir a new Oldsmobile Cutlass Sierra as payment for the kidnapping and a $40,000 cut of the alleged $80,000 ransom after the money was paid. But Carl demands the $40,000 up front. Though Jerry insists that he cannot pay in advance, Carl says this is not up for debate. Furthermore, he expresses skepticism and bewilderment at Jerry's scheme. He even tells him to ask for money from his father-in-law to help him. But Jerry insists that it's a personal matter, but he has everything planned. Carl decides to accept the mission. After this meeting, Jerry returns to his home in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Jean is preparing dinner and tells him that her father is here. During dinner, Jerry's son Scotty leaves his dinner abruptly to go to McDonald's with his friends, which Wade finds rude. With Scotty gone, Jerry tries to convince his father-in-law to invest in a parking lot project that Jerry wants to work on, but Wade says it's a lot of money. When Jerry says he's doing it for Jean and Scotty, Wade says those two have nothing to worry about while he's alive. Meanwhile, Carl and Geir drive the car Jerry gave them for their mission. At work, Jerry has to deal with an enraged customer. Jerry had previously promised to deliver a car for $19,500 without the True Code, but when the customer came to collect the car, Jerry had already used True Code on it, thus increasing the price of the vehicle. Though Jerry insists that it's because of safety reasons, the customer refuses to pay anything above the original price. After talking to his boss, Jerry can only offer a $100 discount on the vehicle, which further enrages the customers. At Jerry's home, Jean tells Scotty that she cannot allow him to participate in a hockey tournament due to his bad grades. As Scotty expresses his frustration, Jerry gets a call from Wade, informing him that his lucrative real estate deal involving a parking lot in Wayzata has been approved, and Wade can offer him a $750,000 loan. Jerry tries to call Carl and Geir but cannot reach them. He tries to talk to Shep in order to contact the two, but Shep has no way of contacting them now. Meanwhile, Carl and Geir have made it to Minneapolis. Carl becomes bored from the drive and tries to strike up a conversation with Geir, but Geir is not a conversation type and sits silently for hours, irritating Carl. Meanwhile, Jerry gets a call from the bank asking him for serial numbers on the cars he apparently financed, but Jerry has embezzled all that money. John is watching the TV when she notices a masked man with a crowbar staring inside her window. The man breaks her window, and as Jean tries to escape, another masked man breaks through the front door and holds her. Jean bites his hand, runs upstairs, locks herself in her bedroom's toilet, and tries to call the police, but her kidnappers pull the phone away. She leaves through the window just as Carl and Geir break open the door. As Carl rushes downstairs to catch up to her, Geir looks through the toilet's drug cabinet for an ointment, but discovers Jean hiding behind the bathtub's curtain. She tries to run but falls down the stairs and is knocked unconscious. Meanwhile, Jerry is surprised when he learns that Wade and his accountant Stan Grossman intend that Wade will handle the deal himself, offering Jerry only a modest finder's fee. Jerry insists that he needs the loan himself to handle the deal, but Stan says they cannot give him such a monumental sum, and they're not a bank to loan out big money. Disappointed, Jerry returns to his home, only to find Jean missing and his house in chaos. Before informing anyone, Jerry goes through several ways in which he could emotionally deliver the news to Wade of Jean's disappearance. Meanwhile, Carl and Geir have made it all the way to Brainerd. A state trooper stops them for not displaying temporary registration tags. Before confronting the trooper, Carl tells Jean to stay quiet or he will shoot her. He promises a skeptical Geir that he'll take care of this. The trooper approaches their vehicle and asks about their registration tags. Carl says that this is a new vehicle, but he is not displaying his temporary tags. The trooper asks for Carl's license and registration, and Carl is only happy to oblige. However, the trooper becomes suspicious and tells Carl to step out of the car. When the trooper hears Jean whimpering in the back seat, Geyer attacks him and shoots him dead. He then tells Carl to clear the body from the road, and while he's doing it, they both notice another car approaching the scene. Because the passers-by have witnessed the crime scene, Geyer takes control of the car and drives after them. However, their car gets overturned due to the dark and slippery road. Geyer gets out of his car and shoots them dead. Brainerd Police Chief Marge Gunderson, who is 7 months pregnant, receives a call in the middle of the night. She is informed about the murder and is called to investigate. Marge's husband, Norm Gunderson, offers to make her breakfast before she leaves. Marge arrives first at the scene of the overturned vehicle. From this scene, she correctly deduces that the dead trooper stopped some criminal, which led to a murder. Because these passers-by witnessed the crime scene, a high-speed chase ensued, which ended with their car being overturned and them being murdered. She also deduces from the footprints that 2 people are involved in the crime. From the trooper's citation book, Marge's partner Lou discovers that the last vehicle he stopped was a tan Sierra at 2:18 a.m. with a plate number that started with DLR, but the trooper couldn't finish the number. However, Marge tells Lou that DLR stands for dealer plates, and the trooper was ticketing a car with dealer plates before he was killed. Meanwhile, Jerry has informed Wade about the kidnapping but strictly tells him not to inform the police, as the kidnappers threaten to kill Jean should they involve the police. Furthermore, Wade doubts that the kidnappers will let her go after receiving the ransom and might even demand more money. Stan Grossman also tells Wade that they are not in a position to negotiate and must offer the kidnappers anything they demand to save Jean's life. Outside the restaurant, Jerry tells Stan that the kidnappers will only deal with Jerry and no one else, so he has to take the money to them. Stan tells him to comfort Scotty. Scotty, who is horrified about his mother's situation, wants to call the police, but Jerry tells him that it's out of the question. He further tells Scotty that should any of Jean's friends call, he must tell them that Jean is down in Florida. Meanwhile, Carl and Geyer have transported Jean to a remote cabin in Moose Lake. When they open the door, Jean tries to run away, but her hands are tied behind her back, and her face is covered with a mask, causing her to slip on the snow in her attempt to run while Carl and Geyer stand and laugh. Marge returns to her station where she meets Norm, who brought her lunch. While they're eating, a police officer reports that 2 men driving a dealership vehicle checked into a nearby motel with 2 call girls. Marge goes to question the girls, who give her a rudimentary description of the men, who told them that they were going towards the Twin Cities in Minnesota. Meanwhile, back at their cabin, Carl and Geyer have settled down, and Carl angrily slaps the television, which is having trouble catching a signal. Meanwhile, Carl calls Jerry to inform him that, because of his wife, they were forced to kill 3 people. He now demands the entire $80,000 ransom for himself. Once this call finishes, Jerry receives another call, asking about those serial numbers that Jerry hasn't delivered. Though Jerry says they are in the mail, the caller informs him that should the serial number not reach him by this afternoon, they will sue him. Marge and Norm are eating at a buffet when a police officer arrives and informs her that the 2 suspects placed a call to Shep from the motel. She decides to drive to Minneapolis. Jerry tells Wade the kidnappers have demanded $1 million and will deal only through him. Wade is horrified and says he will deliver the money himself, but Jerry insists they want to deal with him. However, Wade says that Jerry will ruin the deal, and since it's his money, he can deal with the kidnappers. Marge arrives in Minneapolis. Carl steals another registration plate from a car in order to avoid being pulled over again. Marge visits Wade's dealership and questions Shep, who feigns ignorance. Marge reminds him that associating with criminals is in violation of his parole, and this case might make him an accessory to homicide. She then goes to Jerry's office to question him if he had a tan Sierra stolen from the dealership, and notices how Jerry appears very nervous. However, he insists no cars are missing. While in Minneapolis, Marge reconnects with Mike Yanagita, a high school classmate. Mike awkwardly tries to romance her, but Marge insists on a distance between them. Mike then tells Marge that his wife had leukemia and passed away, and he broke down into a sob, saying he's feeling very lonely. Meanwhile, Carl returns to Minneapolis with the fake plates to retrieve the ransom money from Jerry. He invites a call girl in a Minneapolis hotel room. However, Shep mercilessly attacks him for bringing him to the attention of the police. Carl angrily calls Jerry and demands that he bring the money immediately and threatens to kill Jean and Scotty otherwise. Wade insists on delivering the ransom and meets Carl at a parking garage. While he's driving, Wade loads a gun. Carl is surprised to see Wade and demands to know where Jerry is, but Wade refuses to hand over the ransom without seeing his daughter. In a fit of rage, Carl shoots him. Wade fires back, injuring Carl's jaw. Carl kills Wade and takes the ransom briefcase in his car. Jerry arrives at the scene too late. As Carl is escaping, he kills the garage attendant for witnessing his bloodied face. Jerry arrives at the scene, only to find Wade dead. He goes home to learn from Scotty that Stan called twice, but he refuses to call him back. Meanwhile, a local from near Carl's cabin in Moose Lake informs the police that someone has been asking for call girls and bragged about killing someone. On the way to Moose Lake, Carl discovers the briefcase contains $1 million. He takes out the $80,000 to split with Geyer, burying the rest in the snow alongside the highway. Meanwhile, Marge learns from a friend that Yanagita lied. He has no wife and is mentally ill. She spends the rest of the day reflecting on this and returns to Wade's dealership, which is faking the serial numbers. An agitated Jerry again insists that no cars are missing, but Marge asks him if he's checked his inventory again, since all the clues connect the crimes to this dealership. However, because of his agitation and rude tone, Marge becomes suspicious and asks to talk to Wade, the dealership's owner. Jerry tells Marge he will double-check the inventory. However, Marge sees Jerry driving off the lot and calls the state police. At the cabin, Carl finds that Geyer killed Jean because she would not be quiet. Carl says they should split up and leave immediately, and Carl offers Geyer his own truck in return for the Sierra. But Geyer says that they should split the Sierra too, with one of them paying the other half of the car's cost. Carl uses his injury as justification, insults and threatens Geyer, and attempts to leave with the car, but Geyer kills Carl with an axe. Marge drives to Moose Lake, tipped off by a local bartender who overheard a customer brag about killing someone. She sees Sierra parked near the remote cabin and goes to investigate. She discovers Geyer feeding Carl's body into a wood chipper. Geyer attempts to flee, but Marge shoots him in the leg and arrests him. While she's driving Geyer to the station, Marge is shocked to learn that Geyer committed all those crimes just for a little bit of money and tells him there's more to life than money. Jerry is arrested at a motel outside Bismarck, North Dakota shortly after. Marge's husband, Norm, tells her the Postal Service has selected his painting of a mallard for a 3-cent postage stamp and is dejected that his friend's painting won the competition for a 29-cent stamp. Marge reminds him that smaller denomination stamps get used to make up the difference between the face value of old stamps and the new cost of first-class postage. Norm is reassured, and the couple happily anticipates the birth of their child in 2 months, and the movie ends.